Hi everyone, it's me again, BigFriendlyWarGamer. I'm doing my usual sit and talk and rambling and stuff. I'm actually just sorting out my desk a little bit because I've not painted for a few days and my brushes were all over the place. So yeah, so it's the 7th of August today. So it's come up to, what is the beginning of the month, kind of, because last time I did this it was the last month. And I've been busy, been doing a bit of painting, doing a bit of work, and it's Tuesday, so it means my time to paint again. And again, it is quite hot, so I may do this in sections and go for a drink or something like that. But it's afternoon, so it's cooled down a little bit. It's a little bit overcast, so it's cool. On my desk today we have 5 Cal Space Marines, which are part of a squad that I finished earlier in the year. We have a Chaos Lord, who is got his armour finished and he needs just the rest of him painted. We've got another 10-man Cal Space Marine squad, but I don't plan on getting to them till later. We've got a Blood Angels drop pod, which is something I'm going to be recovering because it's caked in dust. It needs a wash, it needs cleaning up and repainting, because I dry brushed it way too much and it's a bit way too dry brushed. So what we're going to do is I'll wash this, get all the dust off of it, I'll just soak it in warm water for a little while, scrub it a little bit, and then respray it black and paint it again, because the paint's not too thick on it. We have spray cans, which really shouldn't be on my desk, but they are, because like I said, I haven't painted since last Thursday. I didn't paint over the weekend because I was working Friday and Saturday. So yeah, we're just going to crack on. Now we're going to start with Retributor Armour, if there's any left in this one, and we're going to paint the gold on these Cal Space Marines. Yep, that's the one that's open. And we actually want to switch water pots because this is the metallic one. So yeah, so like I said, I worked 2 days last week, Friday and Saturday. Which I'm more than happy just working 2 days. It's a bit of money in my pocket, but it keeps my week relatively free so I can do what I want to do. It sounds a bit childish, me saying about enjoying time off work and whatever, but it's doing me good not having the massive commitments on me to be at work every day and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to stick with it for a little while. We are going to use our, let's use our number 2 brush because it's a decent size. It's a bit gunked up, but it's okay. And we're just going to start painting the trim on the shoulder pad on the armour. So yeah, work was busy and it was hard work, don't get me wrong, but I can do that for 2 days a week, that's not a problem. And I mean, the agency rang me, texted me today and asked if I could work tonight, and it wouldn't have been where I've been working the last few weeks, and I don't want to do more than my 2 days. So I said no, but there you go. So yeah, so the week's been fairly good. Got some painting done in Games Workshop. I'm going to try and make that my Thursday thing now. I'm going to spend some time in Games Workshop around people, because I don't spend a lot of time around people. I know I do it at my club, but it's kind of, it's 1 day a week, so yeah. And so yeah, it was good. It was hot in there, but it's hot everywhere at the moment. So yeah, most of the time it's just gone 4:10. So I normally do these for about an hour, but with the heat it may be a bit shorter than that. I'll see how far I get with these Chaos Marines. And I'm painting Chaos Marines because I started painting my Lord of Skulls last week, and I was actually really enjoying painting it. For a model that's that big, it's quite simple to paint. It was the heat that was getting to me a little bit, painting so much, and then because it's Chaos, of course, they have spikes everywhere, and it was continuously puncturing my fingers, but that's okay. So last night at the club, or yesterday at the club should I say, had a game of Blood Bowl, and nice 2-0 win to me, although a couple of my players got injured and lost armour value. So I've got a Beastman who's now armour 7. I've got Chaos Warrior who's armour 8, and Chaos Warriors being armour 8 isn't particularly great, but it's okay. I just have to. There's actually nothing I can do about it either, unless he gets +1 armour for a stat, but I don't really want to do that. So what I might do, he hasn't got any star player points or anything. I'm tempted to, after my next match, fire him and sign a new Chaos Warrior, which I could well do. I've got 70,000 in the bank, so 70,000 Blood Bowl credits, of course. Not if I had £70,000 in the bank, I would be very happy. But there we go. So yeah, I might fire him and start a new player. Like I said, he's got no star player points. He's nothing special. He's just -1 armor value. So it's not going to hurt me very much if I just sign a new one. But we'll see. So yeah, it's Blood Bowl's going good guns at the club, which is great. I've missed Blood Bowl. I mean, I used to play Blood Bowl with my old friends years and years ago, and I fell out with it because of the actions of one guy who, I was learning a new team, so I was learning Undead. I had to check the rules a lot because I wasn't very good with them, and a thing happened where he was about to score. I played a special play card, and his vampire slipped on a banana skin and actually killed himself. So the guy flipped the table, and I don't play with people like that, so it put me off Blood Bowl for quite a long time. But now I'm back playing with people who are grown-ups, and who, I want to say, most of them don't sulk when they have things happen, but some do. I mean, I was disappointed that my players lost armour value, but it happens, you know what I mean? It's Blood Bowl. Anything can happen in Blood Bowl. They weren't dead. That's the main point. So, yeah. Having a player die is much worse than having -1 armour value. So I'm quite happy with that. And one of my players leveled up as well, and he got dodge. So I've got a Beastman with dodge, which is pretty cool. So he's going to be the ball carrier, I think, if I can remember which one it is. Of course, once they start actually leveling up and getting skills, I come up with names for them. And no players have a name until they've actually done something. So my Chaos Warrior, who leveled up. He got block, which is a general skill. It's nothing special. It's good though. It's good for a Chaos Warrior. He is called Rat Snapper because he killed a Skaven and he hurt another one in one match. So yeah, called him Rat Snapper. Just not sure what to call this beastman who's got dodge. I'll figure out something. Some kind of funny name somewhere down the line. But yeah, on to other things. We got news that Adeptus Titanicus is coming out on pre-order this weekend. With a limited run of the main editions, which is going to be annoying because I'm working Friday night, so I've either got to stay up or try and wake up at 9:30 to put my pre-order in, because generally they go on pre-order about 10, but sometimes you can get on there at like 1:45 and they go up, so yeah, we'll see. And I'm being careful with my money a bit more than I usually am. Titanicus is something that I've saved for a while, so I'm definitely going to buy it because I love epic scale stuff, and playing with Titans in the battlefield is awesome. So yeah, it's the hobby's coming on quite well. But yeah, these Chaos Space Marines. I've got an Apocalypse game at the end of this month, and these aren't particularly for that. They're just guys that I wanted to get finished. And so last month I hit 160 painted models for the year. So we've got 5 months left of the year, including this month. And I've got to paint 40 models in 5 months, so I don't particularly have to rush, but I would like to get the actual target hit, and not do what I've been doing the last couple of years, leave it till midnight on New Year's Eve where I'm sitting painting and all that, trying to get it finished. I think, was it the year before last or last year, I can't remember, I finished at 11:30, my last model, my 200th model for the year. If I go at the rate I'm going, I will easily beat that this year, so that won't be a problem. Like, for example, if this month I get these 5 Chaos Marines, those 10 Chaos Marines, and this Lord finish, that's 16, put me on 176, and I reckon that's easily doable. I mean, the Chaos Marines aren't particularly hard to paint. They are paint the gold, dry brush the gold, paint the gold, shade it, and dry brush. And then repaint the black armour and edge highlight. And then it's details. So it's relatively easy painting Chaos Marines. Like, some of these have got bare heads. And they've got bare heads for a reason. A lot of people don't like putting bare heads on their Space Marines because it looks weird, but with Chaos Marines they have like old weathered skin and stuff like that, so it's quite cool to show that, and plus it's how I tell the squads apart. This squad here have all got the plumes, the hair plumes on their heads or their helmets, and the other squad have all got horns, so it's how I tell the squads apart. And the fact that they're equipped differently, but still. So yeah, so painting's coming on. I mean, with Titanicus coming out, I'm sure I'm going to be painting at least 1 Titan, probably 2. there's a fair few of us at the club that are actually interested in Titan Legions, so I mean the price of it was a little bit more than I thought it would be, but that's okay. So yeah, it's cool. In that you get 2 Titans and 6 Knights, plus all the how to play stuff, and you get some buildings and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that's cool. And then there'll be a group of us learning to play it at the club. But yeah, we're really looking at doing a Blood Bowl League. There's a lot of us that are actually getting quite interested in Blood Bowl now, and the great thing with a Blood Bowl League is we can start it up, and it won't be a massive long 8-month season. It'll be, say, 2 months, and then we might hold a cup, and then and other people can join in with our other teams. So it's good in that way that it doesn't exclude people from the actual game for too long. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, yesterday at the club we had 4 games of Blood Bowl being played, so it was 8 people playing, and there was more people. Some people were like watching and helping out to start with, and then played games later. So it's going quite well. And like I said, Blood Bowl is so much fun. It's such a laugh. Such ridiculous things happen sometimes, and then the easy basic things go wrong. So you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, so this week I'm obviously painting today. I should be painting tomorrow as well. I'm hoping it's going to cool down a little bit. It's really sticky and warm. It has been for a while now, and apparently it's going to be for a while longer as well. It's fine. It's just I've noticed that people aren't painting quite as much on the painting groups because of the heat, and I understand that, because it's awkward to sit and paint when it's this hot. But just take breaks. I mean, you can't see the chair that I'm sitting on, but it's a high-backed leather chair, so it's not exactly cooling, but it's fine. I can handle it. So, and then, like I say, I normally have my fan on, but recording. So with this gold, I'm going to do its base coat, and then I'll come back to them and do a second layer on them. With this gold, with Retributor armor, you have to do that because it's a bit, especially going on to black, you've got to do 2 coats of the gold. So yeah, so I'll do this one layer. In fact, I'll finish this guy off, and then I'll go for a quick water break. So like I said, it is quite stuffy and warm. Need a nice big storm with a big load of rain. Last time we were told we were going to have a storm that I know of, we had 1 rumble of thunder. We had about 10 seconds of rain, and that was about it. But there you go. So I treated myself to a couple of Blu-rays today. I got Ready Player One and Black Panther. So I quite like the Marvel films. I wasn't a Marvel comic book fan when I was growing up, mainly because I was into wargaming and Transformers. That was what I grew up on. But the Marvel films have all been really good, so I've just carried on following them. So I saw Black Panther in Tesco's and I thought I might as well. And that Ready Player One, I'd heard good things about it, so I thought, why not? So I may watch one of them a bit later on, since these YouTube videos take forever to upload. Give me something to do while I'm painting and watching the loading bar going on my laptop. But yeah, something else I'm considering doing is because this whole the whole warehouse work for me, it's just not for me anymore. So I'm looking at I'm gonna get trained up into do something else. I was considering looking at the Open University, see what courses they've got. I'm considering import or export clerk, so I'd still be working in the same industry, because it's the import industry is probably the most secure thing in this country at the moment, because we import everything. We don't really make anything here ourselves. So yeah. Right, so I've done them three. I'm going to stop the video there and I will be back in a moment. Right, and we're back again. And we're going to be doing the same thing, just on these last two. More gold. So yeah, it's the air freight industry, like Britain brings most of its commodities in through air freight. Yeah, so it's quite good job security if you're willing to be in that sort of work. But it also means companies take advantage of their staff a little bit too much, but there you go. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and just start the gold on these last two. So yeah, the last few weeks, the painting's been coming on really well. I mean, it's slowed down now that I've started working again a little bit, but I'm still painting when I can. And sometimes, like, just getting an hour in here or there is quite good, rather than sitting for 8 hours at a time and painting, because you can't always do that. So like today, I'm going to be doing for my hour today, and I don't know if I'm going to carry on painting after that, because it's, like I said, it's quite uncomfortable. I mean, I can feel the sweat dripping off me, so but yeah, because it doesn't help with that lamp being up there. It's quite warm, but anyway. So yeah, the whole idea of that, ideas that I've been thinking up for the Blood Bowl League were that we were going to play for 2 months. You could play as many games as you like, but you only submit your 5 best results. Might go for more than 5, because if you're playing for 2 months, say for example you can get 9 gaming sessions out of that. Some people might want to play quite often, some people not so much. So maybe we should do 6 or 7, I'm not sure. This is something I'll have to talk to the other guys that are in it about. Or we just say that you're only required to play a certain amount of games. I don't want to push people to have to play every week. That's the sticking point, because if you do that, then firstly people will kind of resent it. I know, because I've been there. Oh, you've got to get this game in this week, you've got to get that game in this week, and people start to not want. They want to play other things, which I understand. So I don't want to enforce having to play games on people. Plus we've got Titanicus coming in, we've got the slow growth still going on. So yeah, we've got a lot of things planned and in the planning. So yeah, I'll talk to the other guys a bit more, see what they think. But basically, the whole idea is that you play a league season for say 2 months, and then you play a cup. Now the winner of the cup will get some kind of special thing, like you get winnings for winning a cup, and say for example the Chaos Cup is a bit weird with its winnings. It's not particularly evenly distributed, because it's quite random. So you could have whoever finished second could end up with more winnings than the actual player that won, which is weird. And I like the idea of doing like a dungeon bowl as well. Could easily be done on Warhammer Quest tiles, or I'm talking the old Warhammer Quest or my Hero Quest board. The problems with that is that I know of, I'm the only person with a copy of the old Warhammer Quest or Hero Quest, so it could make it a bit awkward getting games in. So we'll have to see, because I love the idea of Dungeon Bowl. Instead of a Blood Bowl pitch, you're running through corridors of a dungeon, and you have to actually find the ball before you can score with it, and there's a chance that you'll open the treasure chest which you think has the ball, and it's a trap and it blows your player up. So yeah, I like the randomness of Dungeon Bowl is really quite cool. And then you've got the Blood Bowl, which is the actual, it's like the World Cup or the World Series, depending on where you're watching this. Quite a big thing. And so yeah, we'll see. I mean, I just don't know how long the buzz for it will continue, because you never know. Might only continue for a few months and then people get a bit bored of it, but we'll see. I'm going to run the software that I've got on my laptop to do all the league tables and stuff, because I've done it before. It's just a case of having to remind myself how to actually do it. So but it shouldn't be a problem. Should be fine. So yeah, so we've progressed in the slow grow. We've gone to 1,000 points now from 500. I haven't actually played a game yet, and I haven't. I finished building my next 500 points, but I haven't even undercoated any of it yet, which is something I'm hoping to do this week, possibly tomorrow in the morning when it's not too warm. And then I can take them with me into Games Workshop on Thursday and start painting them. Unless I take my Chaos Space Marines instead. I don't know yet. Whatever grabs me on the day, it will probably be most likely. Because the thing is, the Harlequins are really nice to paint. Like, painting purple for a change is like, okay. Because I haven't painted purple on anything ever, really. I mean, the little bit of purple on the purity seals for my Blood Angels don't really count. So, yeah. I mean, and the Chaos Space Marines have got a little bit of purple on them, but they're, like, their power weapons and the plasma guns and stuff, so not a hell of a lot. But painting it on the Harlequins, where a lot of it is purple, was pretty cool. I quite liked it. So my Harlequins are purple and cream. You've probably, if you're watching these videos, you might have seen them already. So I painted them, was it last month or the month before? I can't remember. I think it was mostly last month I painted them. Yeah, that's the one downside of not working, is weeks kind of fade into each other and you lose track of where you are. So yeah, before you know it, it comes up and Christmas is here and all that kind of stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, okay. So yeah, going back to work is probably the right thing for me, but it doesn't, it feels a bit forced, if you know what I mean. It feels like I could still happily just chill out and take my time, but doing the 2 days ain't too bad. It puts some money in my pocket, like I said. It gets me off my arse. It means I'm not sitting here all the time. So, and then you find as well, because when you're actually got days you work, having your 3 days when you're off means something rather than just being another day. So I was finding I could just waste days just relaxing and not really doing a lot, and then before you knew it, like half a week's gone by. You'd be like, oh Jesus, it's Wednesday, and you know, I've got to actually do something with my week. So now don't look forward to work. It's a necessary evil, shall we say. But I look forward to my days after work, which is pretty good. So we're practically there with the first layer of gold on these guys. So I'll find a few more bits and pieces and we're about done. I'd say that's about it. So I'm just going to wait for those guys to dry for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to paint some more of this Chaos Lord. Now I've got a bit of a weird, I say weird, it's not a weird colour scheme, my Black Legion. They're gold and black, and he's got quite a lot of gold on him, but it's okay because he's a Chaos Lord, he should have. And what we're going to do now is we're going to paint his cloak. Now his cloak is it's black here, but we're going to paint it purple. He's going to have the Chaos symbol on the back is going to be something else. I don't know what yet. So we're going to go with Nagaroth Knight. We're going to swatch our waters over so we don't get metallic flecks in the purple. And at the same time I'm doing this, I'm going to paint his plasma pistol as well. Just paint the plasma coil. All gunky, my purple is. Yep, cool. And this will be, again, you'll need 2 coats because the purple's not a very strong pigmented colour. So what we do is we water it down a little bit. Put quite a bit on the palette. And water it down a bit more. Okay. And because he's got like a fur cloak over his back as well as this cape, I'm going to go careful to try not to hit the fur because I've got an idea what I'm going to do with the fur. So we're just going with our number 2 brush again. I'm just going to start layering on the purple. Again, this is Nagaroth Knight isn't a very strong colour, especially over black, so you're going to need 2 coats of this. And what I may actually do is just paint the cow symbol as well, so the cloak is all purple, and then pick the silver, the symbol out in like a silver maybe later. I might pick it out in gold again. Gold will probably work better. Or could do it in the black. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes when you're trying things out, you're not too sure of the colours and stuff. Just giving something a try will be it can be quite good. Like for example, the Lord of Skulls. Like the easy thing to do would have been to spray it red because it's corn, and corn generally is red, and just worked it from there. I sprayed it gold, and then went back and did the black bits once I'd finished the gold. So I washed it, dry brushed it, and then glazed it, and I think it worked quite well. It's still got a lot of work to do on it. It's needs a second layer of black over most of the armor, not the body. The body is more or less done. Just got to do, like, he's got some fleshy wiring, and a few other bits will be silver, like the exhausts and stuff like that. But he's actually quite close to being tabletop ready. Tabletop ready is a phrase people use in wargaming. It's a case of the stage you're happy that being on the table, looking at it from a distance, and it looks okay. Now I always say that my most of my painting is tabletop quality. I'm never going to win awards for my painting, and I don't care, but because I'm happy the stage it's at, the stage my painting's at, so it's fine. So we're just painting the coil on the plasma pistol. We're going to just give that a little bit to dry, and then we're going to catch bits that we've missed. And then we're going to go over it again, just strengthen the purple up. Just wash my brush out because we don't want paint left on the brush. Now these guys as well, there's not really any purple that I can do on them, so it's just a case of now waiting for the cowslaw to dry. It shouldn't take too long in this sort of weather. I can still see bits. So the purple's not really been not really a very strong colour, but it will strengthen as we paint another layer on. Then we do the shade, then we do the layers. It strengthens the colour up. Bit too much paint in the recesses there. That's why it wasn't drying. So next Monday, I'm taking my nephew with me to the club. There's a guy and his son who have started coming down, and they're just starting to learn 40k, and I want to teach my nephew 40k. Me and him have had a quick game, very small game, and I just want to see if he's actually still has the bug for he wants to learn how to play it. So yeah, so I'm going to take him to the club next week, and we're going to play a little 4-player game, and I'm going to be teaching him how to play. Now, I used to do this in 7th edition. I've run some beginner sessions at the club. I helped out a little bit in Games Workshop for the beginner nights back when I was on 4 and 4 off, so I could have the Thursday night off quite for 4 weeks. Yeah, it wasn't me specifically running it, it was just me helping out and giving people advice and stuff like that and rules. I was quite well up on the 40k 7th edition rules, and still am, because 7th edition is what Horus Heresy uses. So I've always said from time to time I'll run little beginner games, and they've generally gone down fairly well at the club. So it's been a while since I've done it, so it's about time I did one and helped my nephew out. But I've been looking for local clubs for him. He lives in Windsor, and I've messaged the Windsor Games Workshop and got no response. But they're in the process of changing managers, so that might be why. And just got some paint on my hands. Okay. So yeah, I mean, the idea come up to me about applying for the Windsor job, the Windsor Games Workshop. But after the last time I went and I got turned down, I didn't get any reason as to why I got turned down. It just flat was. It's kind of disheartening a little bit. I mean, the guys in GW recruitment said to me they don't do feedback, which was a bit frustrating. Which I don't understand why, though. Because if you're trying to recruit the right people for the right job, right? Simply telling someone as to why they weren't right for the position could help them work on it. And I don't mean to be funny, but Games Workshop seems to be going through managers like there's no tomorrow. I mean, the guy who runs Uxbridge, he's quite rare in the fact that he's been there a year and a half. Most Games Workshop managers seem to last about 6 months, and then that's it. They're looking for new staff, so that's why their sales staff at Tottenham Court Road seem to always be moving out, because they're moving on to managers' jobs. So, but I don't understand that. But anyway, I don't know anything about retail. I've never worked in retail, so it's fine. So we got the purple down. it is drying. It's quite heavy, but it's because I watered it down quite a lot. So we're going to go back to the gold. We're going to line these guys up in the order which I think I painted them originally. And we're just going to crack on and start the gold. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this another layer, and then it will be about time for me to end the video. It always seems like I don't get really much painted in this time that I sit and talk for an hour. I'm not generally a quick painter. I mean, the fact that I've got so many models painted this year is kind of deceptive. It's because I've got time to paint. I know people who have painted hundreds and hundreds of more models than I have. But you should never judge your own achievements by what other people have done. So I don't. I do post about what I've done. It's all over Facebook, it's all over Instagram. And obviously it's on YouTube. But what I will do, see, I've started writing post-it notes, keeping track of them. And what I'm going to do is, once I've finished this video, which is about 15 minutes or so, I'm going to write myself a little post-it note about doing a video of all the painted stuff that I've done this year so far. And then I'll do another one at the end of the year, see how much more I've got done. But for me, doing these, not so much the videos, but doing the painting, keeping track of and stuff like that, the fact that it's motivating other people to paint is the thing that is making me the happiest. So, and plus the fact that I'm getting more and more models painted. I've got less of a backlog, but it's still a huge backlog of models to paint. Like I said, if I painted 200 models a year for the rest of my life, and I never bought another thing, I'd probably still have unpainted models by the time I was 100. It is a little bit out of hand, but I'm not in a position where I need to go and sell stuff, so I'm not bothering to sell stuff. I've been there and done that before. It's kind of a bit soul destroying when you're selling off stuff that is your stuff, especially if it's your hobby and you're carrying on with your hobby. I would say that would probably put me into a negative way of thinking with painting. It'd probably shut me down for a little while. So I'm not going to sell my models. I really don't need to. And it's weird saying that because, like I said, I'm part-time and I live with my parents and whatever, but it's fine. And like these Cal Space Marines, for example, I've had these for probably 4 or 5 years, and it's only now they're starting to get painted. Like, I can remember watching a YouTube video, and I can't remember who it's by now, but he was saying about if you've had models sitting in a drawer or in a cupboard or in a case for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, and you haven't painted them, you're probably never going to paint them. So why not sell them to people who will actually get something out of them? And that sounds like a great idea. It gets more people into the hobby and stuff like that. But you also get people who will take advantage of that and see a good deal, buy the good deal, and then sell it at a profit. I've had it done to me. Wasn't particularly happy about it, but it happened. So I'm just like, if it's something that a friend that absolutely needs for an army that he's building or she's building, because I've got female friends that are into the hobby as well, then I could possibly do it. I could understand. But if they're just doing it to make a bit of a profit, no, absolutely not. And it's also struck me that I could actually paint the stuff that I don't really have any interest in and sell it. Now my painting standard is fine. It's, like I said, it's not going to win me any awards, but it's good enough so that people could use my painted models in games, which is the main focus on when you're getting models. I think you want to paint them, you want to put them in a game. So I could do that. For example, I have a big old fantasy wood elf army. When I say big, it's like 4,000 points. It's not huge. And a lot of it is fairly well painted. At the moment it's sitting in a cardboard box on top of my bookcase, but you know, it's just it's an army that I don't have any interest in using. So there's no point in it being in cases because a lot of it isn't painted. So I slung it into a box. And it will probably stay there until I decide to do something with it. The thing is, with fantasy went the way of AOS, so they're not actually wood elves anymore. They're called wanderers or something like that. And by all accounts, the old stuff in AOS isn't very good. Say for example, I started collecting corn demons a little while ago, and they're not great. So yeah, but I'm just not willing to sell them. I know there's some models in there that are worth a lot of money just by themselves, but like I said, I'm not driven by the fact of trying to get money out of everything. Money isn't my defining thing for being alive, so I'm happy with them just sitting in a box for a little while, and I'll rediscover them in a couple of years and go, oh yeah, let's paint some of these. That time when, you know, you keep hearing people about what they've got in a loft and stuff like that. Well, 20 years time, that could be me. Got that model that is worth £3,000 or something like that because they found something was a bit weird about it or whatever. I don't know. So I'm just happy just leaving it as it is. And number 2. And on to number 3. So I did screw up with my Lord of Skulls a little bit. The little Lord of Skulls is, if you've not seen it, is a huge model. It's not the biggest, but it is pretty big. And it's super heavy for 40k. And like I said, it's really quite spiky, so it's difficult to hold on to. But like I said, I've coloured the black I've done the first layer of the black. It needs another layer of black because it's going over a gold base coat, and then it will get shaded and dry brushed. And no, actually the black doesn't get dry brushed, sorry, the black just gets edge highlighted. Normally I would go more layers with a black, but for the colours that I want for these guys, their army is called Black Legion, and this is not in any way racist or about colour or anything like that. Black Legion are basically, they were the Lunar Wolves, then the Sons of Horus, and the core of Black Legion are former Sons of Horus, with Abaddon, who was the first captain, and who now leads them. But they're made up from legions, all kinds of legions. So I've got some Khorne Berserkers in there, Black Legion Berserkers. I'm going to have some Rubikai, which are the Thousand Sons, because I wanted some of them. I'm going to have some Plague Marines, and I'm going to have some Noise Marines eventually. Plague Marines are generally Death Guard, but not specifically got to be Death Guard, but they're Marines that have dedicated themselves to Nurgle. Noise Marines are normally Emperor's Children that have dedicated themselves to Slaanesh, but they don't have to be Emperor's Children. And Rubikai are Thousand Sons, that specifically they are Thousand Sons, and they're dedicated to Tzeentch. So I just think they'll look pretty cool having these different marine types in the black and gold armour, because it will look cool. So that's probably what I'm going to do. In fact, I may actually buy a squad of Rubikai on Thursday, or Death Guard, I don't know yet. We'll see. Probably Rubikai, because they'll be easier to paint at the moment. So we are coming kind of close to our hour. I was hoping to get all of these finished. I've got 2 left, and I've got about 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes even. So I'm going to keep pushing, and I'll just see if I can get these done in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Because this one is practically finished now. On to number 4. So yeah, I have been considering not doing these videos for a little while. I've said this before, I know that. This is what my rambles are all about, just talking about what's on my mind. But like I said, it's what kicks my painting week, so I'll probably stick with it. I've been reading the book Thousand Sons. It's a Horus Heresy book. Yes, I read books. Yes, they're about 40k mostly, or 30k. Thousand Sons has got quite good. It's the story about the Thousand Sons' fall from grace, their use of psychic powers, which some in the Imperium see it as sorcery, which it kind of is. And it's about Magnus the Red, who doesn't see that he's been deceived by what I assume is Tzeentch until it's too late. Until the Space Wolves have been sent to stop them. But the tragedy of it is that Magnus never saw that he was doing wrong, and because of outside interferences like Horus, the Space Wolves were sent in with the order to purge the Thousand Sons rather than actually to bring Magnus to justice. So the Space Wolves went in guns blazing like they do, and the Thousand Sons fell to chaos because of it. So yeah, it's been quite a good book. It's taken me a while to read it. I've been reading it on and off for quite a long time. it's just purely because it's not always first in my mind to sit and read a book. Like my first thing generally is to sit and paint with some music on. And I know I can get audiobooks, but generally speaking I prefer to read the books myself. And a lot of the time it's just when I've got nothing better to do, and it's I don't want to paint because it's warm or whatever. I could just lay on my bed and read a bit of a book. We even bought another one a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. Mephiston. It's another Mephiston book. It's about the chief librarian of the Blood Angels and his fall from grace. It's basically he is. It seems like he's been corrupted by chaos, but we don't know. And if you don't know who Mephiston is, Mephiston's the chief librarian of the Blood Angels, which means he's a psyker, and he is quite a powerful psyker at that. Even in the game, he's quite powerful as well. But he fell to the Black Rage, which means he was inducted into the Death Company, but he beat the Black Rage, kind of. It's still inside him, it's still part of him, and he's basically fighting his inner demons, shall we say. So yeah, like I said, I'm coming a bit close to the end of this now. I'm my last guy doing the gold on him, and then I'm going to spend some more time painting while this is uploading, because it takes forever. But yeah, it's been a good hour. I think I've got quite a bit done. It doesn't look like it, but it kind of is. To be honest, I was in two minds about doing this today. I was going to do it tomorrow instead, but no, I decided to get it done. And last week I put my video up really late because I'd recorded it on the Tuesday, as I always do, and I was going to upload it during the night, and I just totally forgot. And it was Thursday before I actually realised that I hadn't uploaded it. So yeah, I did it Thursday evening, I think it was. Or was it? Yeah, Thursday night. Pretty sure it's Thursday night. If I uploaded it, I don't know. But this will probably go up overnight as well, just so it's not eating up internet usage when other people were wanting to use it. So but yeah, I know you don't always see on these videos the finished items of what I paint. That's why I'm considering doing a bit of a showcase of what I've finished this year. And basically all it will be is I'll lay it out on my desk in, like, what month I painted it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that it was been done this year. I mean, last year I couldn't do this because I did a fair bit of commission painting for other people, and this year has mostly been my stuff. There has been a few little bits and pieces that I've done for other people, but it's mostly my own stuff this year. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to do the commission painting anymore. I've got one left, so I've still got two left. Sorry. One that I took on a little while ago, and one I took on ages ago, as you've probably heard me say many times. I've got to get them done. So tomorrow, when I'm spray painting my Harlequins, I'll be spray painting a Repulsor as well, which is a Space Marine Grav tank. So yeah, so that's the last bit of gold on him. So we are going to call it there. Again, thank you very much for listening to me rambling for an hour or whatever it's been. It's my therapy. It's my way of getting getting stuff off my chest. And generally speaking, it's just my way of actually talking to people. But like I said, thank you very much for listening. I'm Big Friendly Wargamer, as always, and I will catch you all soon. Goodbye.